Bart Kreisler might be one of the top-earning comedians in the US, but comedy podcast fans absolutely despise him. He's notorious for cutting people off mid-conversation, not to add anything meaningful, but just because it seems like he loves the sound of his own voice. And it's probably because he's always drinking. It's gotten so bad that even Rogan and Tom are talking about reviving Sober October just to get Bart to quit drinking for at least a month. A perfect example of how his drinking is spiraling and how bad he's becoming at podcasting is the recent Two Bears One Cave episode with Dana White. Bart had been drinking all morning and the night before. Tom couldn't get a question in without having to talk over him.
Is that still around?
No, not anywhere that I've seen. It's not
because you're in what they argue, like boxing, and this is
and Vegas,
apparently the most corrupt place in the world. Is that they say that boxing's
this is
rigged?
Definitely not the most corrupt place in the world. That's for sure.
No.
This place is so regulated now. I mean, this place was definitely built by the mob.
Yeah,
but this city is regulated. The game. That's why there's sports here now. I mean,
yeah.
This is. I tell people this all the time about gambling. Right?
Yeah.
If you really are a gambler, and you like, even if you're in your podunk town, they got some little casino down the street. Get a plane ticket and fly to Vegas and gamble here.
Yeah.
The gambling here is way more legit than in any of these.
I believe that.
These other casinos that they pop up anywhere else. The only one that's even remotely close to here, and it is close, is Boston. The Encore.
Really?
Yeah, the Encore in Boston is the closest thing to Vegas that you'll find out of.
The most important question that I think anybody can ask you is definitely, let's talk about blackjack.
Okay,
so you are.
Yes. This is.
There's
perfect.
so many stories about you. I have friends that have played with you, who shall remain nameless, but it's like legendary. Were you, first of all, did you always love blackjack? Because I love blackjack.
Well, I've always loved gambling.
Gambling.
Okay,
period.
hang on. Let's start here. Can you? I have a video about me loving drinking. I love drinking.
Yep, I could tell.
Yeah. You.
It's fucking
Yeah. Well, I just flew in from Savannah. I've been drinking all morning, Dana. I didn't stop last night.
It's fucking. He's got a bottle of vodka this big.
Yeah. Killing it. Hey, give me what do you love about gambling? Explain gambling to people, that the Mennonites that might be listening. Like, explain what's beautiful about gambling. Because I have a passion for gambling, but it's a little more high stakes. I can't fall in love with $100 on a hand. But like, what do you love about gambling? I'm curious.
Good question. So I love the energy of a casino. I love walking in. I love the energy of this city. This city gives me a different type of energy than any other city in the world.
Tom literally talking over Bert like he's a toddler. Tom and Dana just continuing their conversation when Bert blurts out stuff, like parents trying to ignore their pushy toddler. Bert, I like drinking. Dana, yeah, you got a bottle of vodka. It's noon. It would have been great to actually hear Dana's answers, but instead Bert kept talking over him, rambling on with these minute-long questions. And to make it worse, they were the same basic questions Dana's been asked a million times before. You can tell Dana's a pro at keeping his cool, not letting Bert get under his skin, but as the podcast goes on, you start to notice Tom giving Bert these looks like, take it easy, man. In the next clip, Tom actually asks a good question about Baccarat and how to play it, but before Dana can even respond, Bert cuts in with his drunk rant about why he likes to gamble.
I don't know anything about the game. A hand, is it over quickly? Like, is it a complicated or quick thing?
So what happens is, you guys got to come do this with me.
Yeah, I want to.
Absolutely not.
I want to.
Absolutely not. You know, I love the tickle of gamble. The thing I love about gambling is when you're not thinking about drinking, you're not thinking about your family, you're in the moment, and everything's tingling inside you, and you go, and your heart's racing. That moment of gamble is so sexy, but it's got to be worth something to you. That's the thing that with me is that it no longer is worth something to me. So like I'm not willing to bet that much money. It's got to tickle you. Like,
but then you don't get the rush.
Yeah, the rush is what I want.
Because
you know what I mean?
They always say at blackjack. I don't know if you ever heard this.
You're preaching to the preacher here.
When
you're
gambling on blackjack and they go and you that first time you reduce your bet, you go like you've been betting 1,000 and you pull it back to 100, and then someone goes, oh, I guess this is how you want to hit blackjack. Like, you're always going to get blackjack on the time you pull your bet down.
Well, I don't do that. I go
hard.
So wait, what's your number? What's your number? Because I know my number for a bet where the rush kicks in.
Well,
like when I love the feeling of going like, I'm all in. Like, I love that feeling of going, this is all the money I brought to the table. I'm putting it all on black. I love that feeling What's your number? If that's
My thing is about winning. I want to win. I want to come. What you said is dead on. I want to beat them. I want to win. So I'm not there. You know, you'll get these guys that'll go in there and play for 10 hours. I've played for 18, 19 hours. If I'm there 18, 19 hours, that's not a good thing. That means I'm getting my ass kicked and I'm trying to get back out. What I do is I go in and I try to be strategic and I try to be disciplined.
Thanks for robbing this interview of a seamless, thought-provoking conversation, Bert Kreischer. The fact that Tom continues to conduct this show with an actual dolphin as a co-host is hilarious. I'm here to shit on Bart, but 276 plus people beat me to it. I love how Bert thought that it was absolutely necessary to cut Dana off before he could explain how to play Baccarat. It's like having Michael Jordan on and interrupting him just to say why you think basketball is cool, then going on to describe the most basic stuff. And the whole time Dana just has to sit there pretending like this is worth his time, because let's be honest, Dana is doing them a favor by even showing up. Him being on Two Bears, One Cave doesn't do anything for him, it's all for Tom and Bert. In the next clip, Bert completely contradicts himself. Earlier in the podcast, Dana offered to take them to play Baccarat and Bert immediately said no way. But then, as soon as Tom says he wants to play with Dana, suddenly Bert's all about it.
We'd love to see you at a fight, but more importantly, next time I come to Vegas, I would love to hit the Baccarat table with you.
Done. I'm
gonna text you, and I would love to do it.
September 27th and 28th, I'm at the, where am I?
I don't know.
Where am I? September 27th and 28th, I'm at Resorts World Theater. Dude, I would love to play Baccarat with you.
Let's do it.
Brother.
So let me ask you a question before we wrap this up. So you love the tickle, so what's your number for per hand? What do you want to bet per hand?
John, I don't know how it works. I've never gambled like this. I'm in for
$250,000.
Yes.
Right? And let's assume, I'm assuming they're going to let you play 10,000 a hand at 250.
Okay.
Because they have like $450,000 hands. You have to have a $10 million credit line. Okay.
I got that.
So
I think, right?
I'm assuming they're going to let you pay 10 a hand. What is the number that you want to walk away with? What do you want to win that night?
I'm going to say a ridiculous number because I don't know money. Like $1 million?
$1 million. That's a big fuck. You have a $250,000 credit line.
Okay.
You can play 10,000 a hand. You want $1 million?
I don't know. I don't know.
How about if you were to win?
If I was to win
$100,000.
If I won $100,000, I could pay Bobby Lee, and I'd be good.
Hey, Bobby Lee.
I can pay him 10 grand, you know. Bobby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like 100 grand, is that a lot?
Bert being obnoxiously drunk for a sit-down with a shark like Dana White is crazy. He should watch this back and be embarrassed. He openly shouted for ice while Dana was mid-combo. Get sober, Bert. Grow up. I keep seeing Tom scream, Bert, shut the up in my head, and it helps. Bert makes me understand narcissism. Bert doesn't even care about gambling. Bert just wants to be the center of attention. He's probably the least self-aware person I've ever seen. And Tom, he's starting to look like the friend who's going to have to sit down with Bert and say, hey, we don't have to do everything together. It's okay if I go and do things on my own sometimes. You can definitely tell Tom's getting irritated, and honestly, who could blame him? They've been doing Two Bears, One Cave for over 5 years now. That's a long time to spend with anybody, let alone Bert.
I throw parties in the summertime,
yeah,
and I'll turn the whole, we have this beautiful backyard at UFC headquarters, and we turn it into a carnival. And bring your kids and your family and let your wife and kids be a part of what you do. You know, I want, when my employees go to work, I want their family to love what they do and be a part of this thing. I've built like the best, strongest team.
That's awesome.
In business, in my opinion.
By the way, we are totally welcome to be invited to one of those parties.
Yeah, anytime.
We'll take pictures.
People
all
would
that
love
shit.
for you guys to come. Yeah, it'd be great. We do concerts back there, and I have an amphitheater in the back of the. I mean, you guys could do comedy back there. You could do anything. And we got the Apex next door. We have the amphitheater in the backyard, and we have the Apex next door. But when I throw Christmas parties, like Rock, Snoop, we had.
We would love to do those.
Oh, the Red Hot Chili Peppers have played.
Okay,
we've had everybody has played.
We'll fly ourselves out.
Yeah. Nelly played last year. He killed it. Anyway, it's a fun to be a UFC employee. Let me just say that.
I bet it is.
by listing off some of the biggest entertainers in the world who already attend the party, basically saying, yeah, we're good on the celebrities, man. In the next clip, you can tell Bert's trying to be humble by calling himself a moron, but thanks to the booze, he takes it way too far and ends up calling Dana and Tom morons too. Not only does he call everyone in the room a moron, but he even throws Joe Rogan under the bus, one of Dana's favorite people.
So wait, here's my question. So we're all wealthy men in this room, but we're all morons, really.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
How do we? Who measures your ideas? Like where? Because I think I know who you are based on Joe talking about you. You're just a dude from Boston. Can I tell you, man? Like I don't look at you as like a dad, and I don't look at Joe as a dad. I absolutely don't look at Joe as a dad.
It's 0 to this. I'm impressed how cool-headed Dana was dealing with Bert's stupid, nothingness talking points. Like I said, probably not the smartest move to call Dana White a moron, let alone Joe Rogan, a guy Dana highly respects. Joe did his first 13 UFC events for free, plus Tom and Joe go way back. Tom was one of the first guests on the Joe Rogan Experience, and it was Joe who hooked Tom up with Red Band, helping Tom launch the first ever Your Mom's House podcast. The only real moron in that room is Bert, and honestly, I think Rogan would agree.
Bert, what did Bert go to see there? The Dead?
He's seen a few there. He saw the.
Of course he has.
He saw the Dead, and he said, "Yeah." He's like, "I cried so much." You know. Of
course.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Of
Emotional.
course. Yeah. I cried the whole time.
Your liver's failing.
My daughters were making fun of me. I'm like, yeah.
They should.
Yeah.
They should mock you. He doesn't just cry. He likes to take photos of him crying and then post it on Instagram. I'm so sad. My daughter went to college. Look, is this one good? How many did he take before he picked that one?
That's when I saw him.
Of course.
Yeah, he was.
He's a character.
He was on one. He was in a bender.
How's he doing these days? He benders. He goes off. He goes on.
Yeah, he's
cleaned up for a little while and he went right back in.
He's on a Bert cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was real clean, and then my favorite, he was like, we were somewhere in Vegas, and somebody was like, do you want this? He's like, can't, I'm hardcore keto. And I was like, okay. And then we go to this, I'm like, okay. And then we go to this bar, and we're pouring drinks, Por Osos drinks, we're like our brand, and it's like tons of people, and it's a very fun thing. Everyone's out and getting bottles and drinks, and we're signing things, and of course, like,
he's throwing them back.
He's throwing back, and at one point, he's standing there shirtless, and he goes, "I'm upset." I go, "Yeah, I can tell." And so I go, "Hey, some time passes." I go, "You want to get out of here?" And he's like, "Yeah." I go, "Okay, we're gonna go this way out of this place, and here's the exit." And he's like, "Okay." So I turn this way, say something, then I go, "Ready?" He goes, "I'm gonna." And I go, "Okay, I'll see you later, man." So.
Really?
I leave. I get out of there, and then I run into him later. I'm like, "How was it?" He was like, "Dude, I was so hammered." I go, "Yeah, I know." He goes, "Yeah, I got back and I ate a dozen donuts." And I was like, I go, "What happened to hardcore keto?"
It's hilarious that Rogan knows Bert well enough to see right through his antics, like those pictures of Bert crying about his daughters. Joe knows it's just Bert turning the moment into something all about himself. He can't even have a genuine life experience without making it a spectacle. Bert's completely delusional. Meanwhile, Joe's the total opposite. He's not an alcoholic, and he's actually fully committed to keto. So when Joe burst out laughing at the thought of Bert, completely hammered, claiming to be full keto is pretty priceless. Joe even seems to be getting tired of Bert. His whole over-the-top shtick can only be tolerated for so long, and the fact that Tom has put up with it for years speaks volumes about Tom's patience. Like the rest of us who've watched Bert drink himself into what he's become, Joe is genuinely surprised that Bert is even still alive.
He's still alive. Mm-hmm. I wonder how long you can do that for.
I mean,
how long can you do that for?
Yeah, he does it, and then what'll happen is like, so he's like, whatever, real crazy right now, and we'll see him in like a month, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah," my other favorite phrase. He's like, "I quit drinking." I go, "When?" He goes, "Wednesday," and I'm like, "But it's Friday." He's like, "I know, but it's like 48 hours, nothing." I'm like, "That's not."
That's a normal person.
That's not how that term works. And he's like, but so he'll get to a certain point here where he'll be like, "I gotta clean it up," and he'll just like really clean it up, like won't drink for a while, clean up the diet. You'll see him just like thin out.
He takes a picture on Instagram.
Takes a good picture.
Sucks his gut in.
Sexy picture.
This is me now.
And then you'll be like, "Oh, you're good."
3 weeks later, huge.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
3 weeks later, I see him waddle through the green room at the mothership. I'm like, "What the dude? The are you doing?"
I know.
He goes hard.
He goes hard, dude. He goes hard. I've been going hard with eating just super clean, man.
It's classic Bert to stop drinking for 36 hours and then brag that he's quit. That just shows how out of touch he really is, telling his closest friends that. But really, the only reason Bert says things like that is to get attention. Because, as much as he loves booze, Bert craves attention even more. Tom, being a good friend he is, tries to shift the conversation, talking about how he's eating well. Anything to avoid trashing Bert when he's not there. But of course, the conversation circles right back to Bert, and despite what Joe thinks of Bert's antics, it's clear he still cares. He even asked Tom if they can get Bert to do another Sober October, which let's not forget, Bert is the whole reason they started Sober October in the first place. It was a direct response to his out-of-control drinking, and here we are, still wondering if they can reel him in for another round.
We're getting close to October. We're going to do something this year?
Dude, I'm shooting the whole month here, but I'll be here. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be here.
You going to go sober?
No, sure. I mean, I'm going to be like shooting 5 days a week. I'm sure
Do you think we can get Bert to go sober for a month again? Because last year he was excited to not do it.
I don't want to speak for him, but no.
Maybe he could use it though, right?
I don't know.
Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for him.
No, it's never the worst thing for any of us to take a month off. Sure.
It's good.
I mean, yeah, I always feel like, I mean, it's what kind of challenge is it for each person, you know?
Well, it's easy for me. I haven't had a drink since I had a couple glasses. I had a margarita and like a mule Saturday night. So that was it. That was the last time I had a drink.
Yeah, I had a few drinks Saturday night in Vegas. Yeah, we were doing.
I was at dinner with the missus, but I haven't had anything to drink since then, which is normal. I can go a week, 2 weeks. Like it's not, it's not that big a deal.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
but for Bert, it's a big ass deal.
Yeah, it tests his will for sure, and
will to live,
cleans him up. I think he also kind of gets off on the challenge of it because so many people are like, you're gonna struggle this, like, online, and I think that
well, Bert's another one that has that delusional I can't lose.
He is. I remember, what was the one that I was like, what are you doing? When he was like, I could do the splits. I was like, no, you can't. I think I can. I was like, you're gonna tear your hamstrings.
When he told me he could, I really believed for a second he could. I was like, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Let me know what you think.